Greetings, my champions of light, and welcome to Light Be With You, the classic hardcore challenge, where we must reach level 60 while maintaining our holy vows. In the last episode, we spent the majority of the time adventuring alone through the forests of Ashenvale, venturing to the highest point of Stone Talon Mountains. And we finished off with collecting some sea creature bones in Darkshore. But that is not all. We also did a cheeky little Deadmines run, and we were able to finish our last adventure at level 25. And of course, my friends, as we begin our next adventure, it's vital that we follow the holy commandments. We must harm no creatures. We must sacrifice ourselves for others, doing everything within reason to save lives. And we must not beg for help or carries. Can you guess which of these holy commandments I am going to accidentally break? I suppose if you want to find out, you'll just have to watch until the very end. And my friends, while I take a moment to vendor the junk from the last Deadmines adventure and collect the herbs from my bank, I want you to know in the last episode I have read one of the comments, and I have to be honest, I have been inspired, and I intend this episode to work on my alchemy and to see if I can make a boatload of coin. We aren't exactly wealthy. And my friends, another comment on our last video inspired me to open a poll on the channel, and for those who had voted, I believe the results speak for themselves. And now that we are here, my friends, I may as well let you know that I have opened up the community, as I will surely read your posts, as I do with every single comment on all of our videos. And what do you know? It turns out that Swift Thistle, well, my friends, let's just say it is priced very high on the auction house. And given that I have 27 of these bad boys, I am very tempted to sell them all, as I would surely make a tidy profit. And after looking into this matter further, I realized swiftness potions, which are made from 1 part Briarthorn and 1 part Swift Thistle, while these potions they go for over 40 silver each, and especially in the world of hardcore WoW, could easily be the difference between life and death. What do you know, I'm actually able to find a swiftness potion recipe, and I use almost all of my remaining funds, and I visit the alchemy shop in the Mage Quarter, and I get busy converting my vast quantities of Briarthorn and Swift Thistle into very valuable potions indeed. I stand to make well over 11 gold coins from our ventures. I store the remainder of the herbs for now, and considering that I am completely broke, I had best try to acquire some more coin and experience points. And I take a griffin ride far north to Loch Modan. And what do you know? In the quaint town of Felsamar, I find the magistrate, who offers me a quest to bring down some elite ogres. And I also find a wanted poster that wants me to hunt down the leader of these elite ogres, Chuck Sewell. Oh, obviously, my friends, not only can I not actually harm these ogres myself, but I certainly would not survive alone. And so I take the time to advertise my healing hands to the few adventurers currently questing through Loch Modan. And what do you know, I find this feral druid, and I beeline across the lake, eager to reach the feral druid before they complete the quest. And despite me having several levels on these ogres, I opt to use my Mind Soothe ability to help me sneak right past them. I meet up with the feral druid, and I heal them as they get to work on these vile ogres. I even offer them some elixirs of minor fortitude, as a form of charity, I suppose. And despite looting the quest item they were after, due to what I can only assume to be my holy charm, they offer to help me finish the quest, and I follow around our druid companion dutifully, maintaining their health as they deal the damage. Eventually, my friends, we are forced to enter into the ogre's cave, and while there I make the suggestion that perhaps we can bring down Chuck Sewell. The druid, being a tiger, doesn't really say anything, but they seem to be making their way towards the ogre's leader, so I suppose I should probably just follow, and we attempt to mind-suit these ogres to see if we can draw out one at a time. As you had probably guessed, my friends, this has zero effect, and so we make a speedy retreat. And after returning the mana potions to the kind druid who had offered them to me earlier, we finally part ways. Well, at least we got one quest completed. I suppose you can't be a winner at everything all the time. And I'm sure we'll be back in the future if Loch Modan becomes more populated. And so, my friends, I spend a considerable amount of time making laps around the eastern side of Loch Modan, collecting every briarthorn and every maid royal in sight. As now that I have discovered the swiftness potion recipe, I am eager to make a profit. And as I travel round gathering these herbs, I believe now is a great opportunity to make another announcement. You see, my friends, the day before this video released, you may not know this, my friends, but there is a very large and popular annual roleplay event, and I for one have decided that in the next episode, for just one time only, I will be replicating Saint Scorp on the US realm of Moongard. And if you have never experienced an event like this before, I strongly recommend, on one of these days this week, checking this event out. And who knows, my friends, if you check out this event on Friday, you may even bump into Saint Scorp, preaching the words of the Holy Light to the corrupted citizens of Moongard. Even without purchasing the new expansion Midnight, you can easily check this out. Simply find the portal to Oldham, and you'll be transported to a corrupted timeline. But have no fear, my friends. If you find this floating NPC, you will be transported back to the proper timeline, where this event takes place, later in the evening. Now that I have gone over our plans for the next episode, it is time to return to the superior version of the Warcraft franchise. And my friends, having done approximately 5 laps of the eastern side of Loch Modan, we have collected an obscene quantity of briarthorn and swift-thistle, and we return to the town of Thelsamar, and after collecting some money that I had earned from auctioning my other junk, I finally have enough coin to return south, and so we ride a griffin until we reach the Redridge Mountains. And let's just say, my friends, the weather isn't exactly inviting, and completely lost for what to do. I ask in the general chat if anyone is in need of my healing hands. And what do you know, it turns out there are some adventurers doing the elite quests, and I make a mad dash to pick up as many quests as I can, and I venture through the soaking wet rain, exiting the town of Lakeshire, and making my way towards the Stonewatch Keep. And it is here, my friends, that I discover the other adventurers are doing battle with devilish gnoll fiends. And of course, my friends, it turns out that the 3 of them have almost completed their quest to collect the pendants of 10 Shadowhide gnolls. And my friends, to make matters worse, it appears that they have now all finished the quest. Fortunately, my friends, the kind leader of the group actually tries to make sure that everyone has collected their pendants. And I make it clear that while I do not want to force the rest of the group to go through all that pendant collecting after I had only just arrived, I did make the suggestion that we could bring down the leader of the gnolls, Fangor, to which it appears the group agrees. And what do you know, it turns out that Fangor, the leader of the gnolls, let's just say he is surrounded by a large number of lesser minions. And it's not long before the entire Shadowhide army comes to blows with our party. However, it appears that my timely arrival may have tipped the balance in the group's favor, and we are able to collect all of the Shadowhide pendants. However, my friends, it appears that not all members of the group appreciate my priestly ways. I use it as an opportunity to plug the channel, in an effort to appear less weird for the way I am talking. And it's not long, my friends, before the four of us venture into Stonewatch Keep. And while it appears I may not have the same quests as my fellow adventurers, I am able to collect the battle-worn axes from these Blackrock orcs. But finally, my friends, we come across the final boss, the warlord of the Blackrock clan, Gath Ilzog, and he is not alone. Fortunately, my friends, nothing a mana potion can't handle, and we are able to bring them down. And I collect the Orc Warlord's head, without dealing a single point of damage. Unfortunately, it appears the Orcs were not best pleased, and the entire Blackrock army appears to give chase for quite some time. And other than the rain pouring down upon us, all appears right in the world of Azeroth. Or was it? If you remember, my friends, I mentioned to you at the beginning of the episode that I had broken a holy commandment, and as the hunter quickly leaves the group, I approach the gnome mage and I trade him a quarter of my entire coin. And despite the confusion, the other human priest is glad to accept the other quarter of my coin. That is right, my friends, I have given away half of all of my gold. And I'm very pleased that I hadn't had a chance to turn in these lucrative quests, as I would have had to give up even more coin. And after turning in these lucrative quests and gaining a healthy dose of experience points as well as a lot of coin, and after making a little donation to the dwarf hunter, I return to the city of Stormwind. And after doing some vendoring, and after brewing the abundance of Briarthorn and Swift Thistle into a large number of swiftness potions that are sure to make me a lot of coin, I venture to the Cathedral of Light, for I have sinned and broken a holy commandment a second time. And while last time it was because I mistakenly asked for aid, this time it is much more serious. Earlier, while we were battling the gnolls, I was advised to check the slain gnolls killed by my fellow adventurers, just in case they still had a pendant in their possession. And it is at this moment, my friends, that a terrible thing occurred. I accidentally dropped my Staff of Westfall, and it landed directly on the neck of an innocent bunny rabbit. I did not even realize the bunny rabbit was there. The weight of the staff was enough to instantly kill it. I have not only harmed a creature, I have actually directly caused a creature to perish. And although, my friends, at the time I had given away half of my wealth, I truly do not believe this is enough to save my soul from this act of defiance against the holy commandments. And so, my friends, I call upon you now, and my holy disciples, if I can even call you my disciples after what I have done, please comment below how I could possibly repent for breaking what is arguably the most sacred holy commandment. And obviously, my friends, I cannot bear the thought of asking you to subscribe, given what has taken place. But if you'd still like to show your support, I would be most grateful indeed. Thank you again for watching, and always remember, light be with you.